What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Chef's Garage video. Welcome back to another MK8 GTI video. Today, I'm going to give you guys an update on my KW V1 coilovers and whether I still think they are worth the $2,000 price tag. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. But first, if you're new to my channel and this is the first time seeing my face on your screen, consider subscribing down below for more awesome MK8 GTI videos and other car content as well. I'm trying to become a full-time YouTuber and cannot do without your guys' support. You guys have been crushing the support lately. The 2,000 subscriber special, I promise, is coming soon, and I have a ton of more content coming up this summer. The summer car season's just starting, or hasn't started, but it will be starting, and a ton of content is coming your way this summer. So if you want to join one of the most underrated channels on the planet, subscribe down below. It's free and you have no excuse to do it. Anyways, back to the GTI. Now, a little over a few months ago, I purchased my first set of coilovers, a KW V1 set of coilovers for my MK8 GTI. Now, I was coming from my H&R Sports Springs, and I made a video a few months ago talking about the switch and everything, fixing the mistake that I made with this car with the suspension. I'll link it up there if you want to go check it out. After installing the suspension, I told you guys that a few months later I would do an update. Well, it has been a few months. I think I got the suspension done in like November. It is April, so it's a little about 6 months later, and I thought, you know what, let's do a update on the suspension, because I think people would like to hear my thoughts of having $2,000 suspension on my car, and because I think people are worried about spending that much money on suspension, I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions on it, the pros and the cons. So let's get started. Now, I think a good place to start off is the difference between a coilover and a lowering spring. Now, a coilover, you're basically replacing the entire suspension setup. You're replacing the top thing, you're replacing the strut, the spring, everything gets replaced. So you're basically putting entirely new suspension on your car, which is why it's so expensive. A lowering spring, you're just getting the spring and the little bushings for it, and you're lowering it on the stock struts. Now, the problem with this is the stock struts aren't made for lowering springs, they're made for the stock springs that come with your car. So because of that, after a few years, if you live in the Northeast with terrible roads, you will find out that they will soon to ride like crap. I've had these on my car for about 6 months. I've driven a little over 2,000 miles on them, so I can fully say that they are absolutely worth it. And I'm going to tell you guys some of the things I've noticed while driving on this set. First of all, the ride is as smooth as it could get. Now, I have it currently on the lowest, one of the lowest settings you can get it on this car when it comes to my coilovers. And the great thing about it is, yeah, a lowered car is going to ride stiff, but this car rides smoother. It absorbs the bumps way better for just normal street use. And the best part about this is if you especially are the type of person to go fast through turns or track your car, the coilovers handle the body roll way better. You definitely notice an increase in handling characteristics in this car compared to just normal lowering springs. With my lowering springs, I was feeling a lot of body roll in the turns when I was going off exit ramps or going on ramps and going on the highway and stuff. But the one thing you notice with this is the body roll is like, I wouldn't say it's gone, but it's definitely severely lessened with this coilover setup. Another pro too that I also just want to point out, I haven't used this yet, but I definitely feel like I will at some point in the future, is most coilover kits come with a full-on toolkit like this, which you have this little nut that you can use to adjust, I think, the dampening, and then you have the actual coilover tool itself, and then whatever this thing is. But I know this, you can adjust the height of the car, and then this is for the dampening. So I don't know, I think this is pretty cool. You have a little bit of customization, so if you decide, you know what, I'm done being on the ground, I want it higher up, the springs are fully adjustable. Yes, you kind of have to take the tire car apart, but at least you don't have to keep on swapping parts, which is sort of what I was worried about with the lowering springs. If you wanted higher ride height from the lowering springs, you have to kind of disassemble the entire suspension, wheel, everything, and you know, that takes time, versus this, you just have to take the wheel off and everything can be done just in the wheel well, which is nice. So overall, the ride is better compared to my H&R lowering springs. It handles better. There's a lot less body roll. Overall, I have really good things to say about these KW coilovers. Now, when the weather gets nicer, I definitely want to do an updated POV drive with the other modifications that I'm about to be putting on this summer. So I definitely want to do an updated POV drive for you guys, so you guys can visually see the updated handling and suspension setup while in action, because it truly is a visual difference but also a physical difference as well. I cannot stress this enough. The money that these cost, it's well worth it, but they aren't perfect. Unfortunately, after I spent all this money, there are a couple of things that I want to preface if you decide to do this. First of all, the money. Well, coilovers cost a lot of money, unfortunately. These were around $2,000 plus installation. That was probably another $1,000. So yeah, I probably spent like $3,000 in the suspension stuff. I value my ride, okay? I value, it's my commuter car. I value something you just kind of have to just like, you know when you go in and do this, but there are more flaws other than the price. If you lower it all the way, like I have, this is probably as low as you can go for like street use. Not only is the fitment like absolutely perfect, which looks great, there are some problems, at least around here, where you go this low. First of all, there is a design flaw with the front of this car when you lower it, where right here this will bend. There is, you can feel it, but it's hard to visualize, but this will have a crease in it because of I'm guessing it could be from the wheel hitting up here. The inside fender liner is fine. Like, I've tried this, and I've actually had to go and get an alignment adjustment to add a little bit more camber here, but this will bend from time to time. This just is from the suspension or the tire on both sides. You can kind of visually see it, how it isn't perfectly straight, but the great news is it bends back and you can barely tell that this has happened. But I got my alignment fixed up here and it has not happened as often as it did, but well, there's that, and there's another thing too. As these are lower than sport springs or lowering springs, you will scrape underneath here. I have my solution is, when I do my spring detail on this car, I'm just gonna full off sand all the times I've had to enter the parking garage for school. Unfortunately, you just kind of have to get used to that. But other than those things, I really would recommend a set of coilovers for your Mark 8 GTI or Golf R, or for any car. I really do think that they are the way to go when it comes to suspension. It is so much better than a spring, and my view is if you're gonna go with a suspension setup for your car, don't cut corners like I did. Not saying that lowering springs are bad. They served a purpose for me for a brief point in time when I couldn't afford the coilovers, but once you have the means to do it, I would totally do it. 100% recommend. So in conclusion, yes, the coilovers do have their flaws, but I'm absolutely loving them. When the weather is nicer, I'm definitely going to do a POV drive of this car for you guys again, so you guys can see the new stuff in action, the new coilovers in action. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Comment, like, and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.